I've been on Zooms all morning, so I'm prepared.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have a desk job. I'm not cut out for it anymore.
No, I'm in sweatpants,
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's how to do it. That's how
how
you
I
do
am every day. Oh, yeah.
it. Okay, so we're gonna get started. This is gonna be recorded because a lot of people can't make this time. So if any questions come up, we can, I think there's like a comment section, maybe. I don't know. Is there a comment section, Jen?
Yeah, it's chat.
Oh, I don't see a chat. Oh, maybe in more.
So
Anyway, yes.
I'll take note of questions in chat. If we can't get to them, we will send it out in the recap email.
Perfect. Okay. So I just wanted to start. We have our calorie goals, and now we kind of feel like now what? I want to, Jen and I will send out a day of eating, kind of what from my meal plans that I give in my focus meetings of what one day should look like. And so what I'm looking for is I want to see a breakfast, I want to see a lunch and a dinner and 1 to 2 snacks in between. We're still holding to being done eating by 6:30. So if that's one of your struggles, we can chat one-on-one. I know that's been a struggle, especially with sports coming up. So that's how I want our eating to be structured. A lot of feedback. So we got everybody's numbers of what they have been currently doing. We had, there's a couple things. So some people didn't know how much protein they were getting in, didn't know how many calories they were getting in. So making sure that we are logging our food at least 3 times, 3 times a day or 3 times a week, I should say. And in our team's going to be checking your MyFitnessPal, so make sure that you are friends with us on there. So 3 times a week, making sure you're getting close to those numbers. If you're super far off, we can look at your diary, not just the calories that you're taking in. So we can give you suggestions on if you're super far off. And then another feedback we received, a lot of people, we were lacking protein. And that can go both ways. You can be super under eating protein, or you can be kind of overdoing it. There is such thing as too much of a good thing. So being mindful of that as well. And know that our goals aren't meant to be achieved week 1. So if you are somebody who is only getting about 80 grams of protein a day, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and start eating what we suggested at maybe 140 grams. So be mindful of that. Logging will help. And then maybe just adding like 1 protein shake in, or adding another ounce of meat to your plate per meal. Those are suggestions that we can give you one-on-one if you need it. So log your food. It's very important. We can't help you if you don't know what you're putting in your body. Another big one I got was, oh my gosh, my calories that you and Jen prescribed are really high. So if we are talking, this challenge is for strength, but it's also, a lot of people still have that fat loss goal. And I would tell you, when we are trying to achieve one of these, we typically think that we're going to eat super high protein, super low cal. And that is just the wrong way to do it. We are working out super hard. Jen and I calculated your basal metabolic rate. So if we don't know what that is, that's based on your age, height, and weight. From that, that's why we asked how many steps you are taking in a day. Because then that helps us learn your activity factor. So when we calculated these, we were very mindful, and thankfully we know all of you pretty well to know you'll still be in a healthy caloric deficit, but you definitely need to be eating around the calories that we have targeted for you. This goes back to, you're not going to be able to undo these unhealthy habits in a day. So give yourself some grace, continue to log. And then the one thing I want to add, Jen, before I bring you on, we need to log the night before most times. So in the past, I've had a lot of focus meetings that are like, I get down to dinner and then I realize I'm only at 70 grams of protein and I don't know what to do. So logging the night before is going to be very helpful. So that way you have an exact plan of what you were doing the next day. It's going to help curb hunger because you're not guessing what you're having next. And then it's also you're going to stay within your caloric intake that we suggested for you. And you'll be able to map out your macronutrients that we have also suggested for you. And then, sorry, one more thing. I got this a lot too. If that is you and it's 7 o'clock and you have not hit your protein goal, just scratch the day. Like if you're like, I still need 20 more carbs, I just ate dinner, I'm full. Don't try to get in another meal at like 7 or 8 o'clock. Just don't do it. Scratch that. And then, like I said, log your food for the next day. So that way you have a better idea of what the day is going to look like. Jen, what do you want to add to everything I just said?
I think just keep in mind that tracking doesn't have to be forever. We just want to really get a good idea, and we want you to get a good idea of what you're eating and find a balance. A lot of times we can go on the extremes of undereating or overeating. Undereating can lead to binging, at night if you get the cravings. That's a common one that I've heard. It's a lifestyle change. So you just want a balance, and just being aware of what you're eating that's what the macros are all about and why we want you to track. And it's not forever. You'll get good at kind of knowing what you are eating, and then you can back off. And then if you want to hit another goal, you can pick it back up for a little while and just keep checking in.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I want to add, that reminded me. So we get a lot of questions on, I need new meal ideas. What should I eat? And so like Jen said, logging isn't going to be forever. We don't want it to be intended to be forever because we have lives to live. It's not sustainable. But when you come to me and you ask me for new meal ideas, you're really not going to get them. And it's not because I don't care. It's because I eat boring. What I give you guys is what I do. And I continue to say boring is best. There's no guesswork in it. You've mapped it out on your MyFitnessPal before. You know that it fits within everything you need to hit. Yes, are you going to go off a little bit and go to a restaurant? Of course, we need to live our lives. But less is more. Like, I really don't want you to go on Pinterest and search like healthy dinner ideas. Like, it is so beyond overwhelming that I think that's why we fail a lot of times, because we go to the grocery store and we get like the 20 ingredients, and then we get home and we realize we just don't have the capacity to take on that new recipe. So boring is best. Again, we will help you the best we can, but I want you guys to kind of adopt that mentality that not every meal is going to be like super delicious. Not every meal for me is going to be like my chocolate overflow cake that I just love to have. Just not going to happen.
Also, just keep in mind how Megan was saying about planning ahead. It's so much easier if you make the choice before you're presented with the choice. So if you've already made the choice of what you're having for lunch tomorrow, when you are hangry at 11:30 and nowhere near food that you may have planned or haven't planned or have no idea what to have, you're probably going to make a poor choice because you're just cranky, you're low energy, maybe, all the things, all the side effects of being hungry or thirsty. So just try to make the choice before you even have to make the choice.
Yeah.
Maybe just find like a handful of different things that you can eat once a week or twice a week and just have those in your house on rotation. Pack them up before if you're on the go or at work.
Totally. Yeah. And like, this is a different challenge. We're really focused on our strength, and you will find if you are not fueling your body properly, you're not going to have the energy to lift the heavier weights. You may not even have the energy to go throughout your day. So if you're feeling like lethargic and tired and cranky and never satisfied, a lot of it is probably due to the fact that you are not eating enough calories. So I want you to trust us, trust the process. If you, like I said, if you have any questions, use, what is this, Jen? What'd you say it was? The chat box. We'll open it up to questions right now. I can go on and on, but I want to keep it at this unless there's any questions. Or you can raise a hand and we could just do it live. Anything anybody wants to add? No?
You guys are all on track. You have no questions, no problems, no issues.
We're perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we will end it with this then. If anything does come up, please let us know. But I really want you guys to start logging your food today. 3 days a week minimum. We have our entire team. It's all hands on deck. So we are going to be checking this. And I already had some members picking up heavier weights today than they did on Saturday. So if you have not taken camp yet, and you're going to the PM, just keep that in mind that this is strength focused and you're going to feel better by picking up those heavier weights.
Can I make a
Also,
comment as a trainer?
Oh yeah, sure.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah. What did you say, Ray?
Okay. Last week, I think it was, I challenged a few members with going just a little bit heavy, not too crazy heavy, just like maybe 5 pounds, because I saw them, they're blazing through the reps and the sets. Not with ease, but they were cranking out every 7th and 8th rep with no problem. So I don't want people to get discouraged. I got a couple of sideways looks like, are you kidding me? But you set the weights down and you sit there and watch them, and they did it without, I wouldn't say without any problem, but they completed all the reps. So have faith in yourself that you can do it. If the trainer comes over to you and says, just give it a shot. And usually what I did is I gave them a rep goal lower than, I think during that camp, our reps were 7 or 8. I said, shoot for 6. And they cranked out 6. And then let's go for the 8s. And they did it. So just challenge yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Thanks. I think that's
Sure.
great. Yeah. And we, like, us trainers aren't like, we know what you're capable of. So we believe in you. It's great to feel pushed. Emily, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I wasn't able to be there on Saturday. So for those of us that couldn't make it, how do we fill out the cards and track
Yeah.
everything?
So your card is in the trainer office. There are 2 Emily F's. So please write your last name on there because I just put Emily F. And so today is going to be your baseline. So actually this whole week will be your baseline. So today's camp structure, you have devil's press, which is going to be your focus for the challenge. It's going to be that one exercise. And so you are going to write down, it's 4 rounds, write down just one, like your best round. So your max reps with whatever weight you picked up. And then you're going to be doing that all week to get your baseline for weeks moving forward. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that weren't there on Saturday also with that. You didn't do the timed mile. So you can either do that before or after camp on on a different day if you choose. But not every Saturday is going to be the timed mile. We're going to be having interval running. We'll probably do like a halftime. So like week 3, we'll do a timed mile and see where we are. But this Saturday is not going to be the timed mile again. Anybody else?
I just want to mention that every week we're going to be on here at noon during the challenge, and it's going to be a different topic every time. If you ever have questions, please email us beforehand, and then we can make sure to cover it in the talk. Or if you have it after, we can reply and make sure that we answer that question live for everyone else to hear too. Because
Hello.
anytime somebody asks a question, somebody else was already thinking it, so you were just the brave one to ask. So there's that. And any other housekeeping things? Oh, I'll put this in the recap email, but protein literally just got delivered to my porch right now. We still have some more coming, I think, but it's going to be in the office with your names on it, and we'll send out messages.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think somebody put something in the chat.
Let's see.
I don't know if you saw
Julie couldn't get in. Let's see. Julie, are you in? So we're going to be posting this too. So if you missed it, you can check in. I have recorded the whole thing. So
Julie said she's having difficulty logging food in.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
Zoom.
I just read it as she was having trouble logging into the Zoom.
Oh,
okay.
So I have a trick.
Okay.
If you change your profile to Canada, that you're Canadian, you can log your food by scanning. They don't allow it in the United States, but if you change your profile to Canada, you can then scan your food. I know Megan prefers that you don't scan because then that means you're eating something packaged. However, like I could not find my almond butter today. I got a new brand and it was just super easy to scan. So that's a little tip with my Fitness Pal. Just pretend to be Canadian.
Yes. And
you don't have to have the paid account. You don't need to pay. Just do the free one.
Yeah.
On my
go ahead.
Sorry. If you can make sure, I've been going through I see that a lot of you guys have friended us, which is awesome. We have access to your profile, but your diary, your food logging diary needs to be open for public so that we can see that.
Yes.
And you can make it private again after the challenge. Or if you have an issue with it, just let us know. And we can come one-on-one, but it does need to be public for us to be able to see it.
Yeah. And if you are like, when you log on MyFitnessPal, it may come up. If your activity is synced with your MyFitnessPal, disregard that. We have already accounted for the exercise. So like, unfortunately you didn't get those extra 200 calories. Like it's already accounted for in the goals that we gave you. Anything else?
Hang on, there's something else. It's not like updating for me and telling me, so I'm just scrolling down. Julie says her concern is that some of her foods are cultural, which makes it hard to measure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just ballpark to your best ability. Yeah, that's really all we can do. Just, does your food have like nutrition on the back? Or where's Julie?
Okay, so for example, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay, so for example, we make something called stew. And when you think of a stew, it's not what the American culture thinks of. It's pretty much tomatoes blended together with bell pepper, onions, and garlic. And then you put either olive oil, canola oil in the pot. And then when it's hot, you put the blended peppers together. You let it cook for 30, 45 minutes. And then add some spices to it, add some chicken to it. And you eat that with several meals. So you can eat that with brown rice or white rice. You can eat that with different meals. So people tend to eat stew with a lot of things, like the base for a lot of things. So for example, for my lunch today, I just had brown rice, some stew, and I just measure everything by ounces. So I just measure the rice part of it. I measure the chicken breast that I used to cook with. And then the stew is really more of like a gravy. I guess you can call it like a gravy. Yeah.
Like a marinara.
Yeah. No,
marinara.
more like a gravy. Yeah, more like a gravy because you can't eat the rice and chicken by itself. You have to have a stew to add on to it. So yeah.
Okay. So my suggestion is if you really want to break it down, you can make meals in My Body where you literally put all of the ingredients, you make the serving size. So for example, if you're making a portion of your gravy that is 8 servings, you can divide all the ingredients that you put up into that, and then you have that meal saved under your name. So then you can just add that every day. It's a little bit of work, but if you really want to break it down that way. Otherwise, knowing the ounces of chicken is really, really important. And then maybe just finding something similar that somebody's already else done.
If it's something you eat a lot, it may be worth the time putting the recipe in. Just so in that way it's saved and it's there for next time. Let's see. I would be careful though, if you're using somebody else's MyFitnessPal like recipe. Yeah, sometimes they're not super accurate. There was one time I clicked on an Afterburn and it had like crazy amount of sodium. It was just super off. So be mindful of that.
Yeah, Justin also mentioned that sometimes you can find recipes on Pinterest or online or whatever, and they will have already done the macro breakdown or even have a link to the MyFitnessPal. Like they've already put it in.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot. So that's helpful. So Julie, if you could find a recipe similar to yours, you might be able to do that too.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's start logging your food. Anything else? Cool. Anything else you want to add, Jen?
Nope.
Okay. We have to end the meeting the way we end camps though. Katie's ready. She's putting her phone down. All right. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.
Bye, guys.
Bye.